And joining us right now, an old friend of the program, Delia Meyer from the Iowa 80 Group. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I just saw you again on the Travel Channel the other day.
Oh, yeah?
It was just great. I love it because I was just as I tuned in, they were showing the Iowa 80 truck stop, and it was awesome. I love that.
I love that everywhere I go, people say, I just saw that.
It was great, and it shines some light on, of course, the world's largest truck stop. And we're going to talk with Heather DeBailey later in the program about what's going on. Of course, the big Walcott Truckers Jamboree is just around the corner. We'll talk more about that. But let's talk about some key issues, something that you're involved in here. First of all, let's talk about rest area commercialization. Where are we on this, and why is this so important to you?
Well, this is a particularly big year because the highway reauthorization is up this year, for debate, and in fact, it's expired. And so there's a lot of different states, Virginia, out in the east, Pennsylvania, that are really wanting to commercialize their rest areas, which means they want to take them over and sell them to a private company.
Right.
And, so there'd be, the same things that truck stops provide for cars in there. It wouldn't improve truck parking. It would really hamper a truck stop's ability to grow, and it really hampers our future because it gives a monopoly to another company.
Yeah, and that's, again, something I think drivers need to realize. These issues here really do come down to affecting the end user, the driver that's going to be out there, and that ultimately starts affecting the service. You guys at the Iowa 80 Group have done such a good job at listening to the driver, staying in tune with the driver, and then following through. Everything from expansion, the Chrome Shop, whatever it might be, that kind of involvement with the driver is to serve them better. You get into a situation where there's a monopoly, and that becomes, again, as far as priorities are concerned, really low on the list.
My company has always put the driver first.
Yeah.
We say it's our number one customer. We think about it. To us, the way we feel about it is that we're their work life.
Yeah.
We're their downtime. We're their family. We're their home away from home. Mm-hmm. And so anything that jeopardizes our ability to continue to serve our drivers in the best way we can, I'm very concerned about.
Yeah, and that's it. And we want to make sure because, look, drivers should know, for those who don't, you drive the business. You help to change the industry based on when your company first started all the way to today, based on that feedback, based on the needs of the driver, which are ever-changing, as you know. Mm-hmm. You start losing that communication. You start losing that, and the driver, they just become less efficient out there.
Ultimately, the driver will pay for this.
Yeah.
Once you start taking things away and taking away our ability to reinvest in this and make things better, they're the ones that will end up suffering, I believe.
What can drivers do if they're concerned about this rest area commercialization?
I really think they need to be talking to people about it. They need to be talking to their neighbors about it. They need to be talking if they, any political people in their area. They need to say, you know what, rest areas are just for a quick stop. But truckers need long-term rest, and they need long-term, places to park.
Right.
And rest area commercialization will really hurt truck parking in this country. It's really going to reduce the number of truck parking spaces.
Yeah.
No state is interested in adding more truck parking.
Yeah.
They're interested in, renting out that space to a vendor.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be about truck parking. It's going to be about, revenue.
Right.
And so, free parking is a great deal in this country for trucks. And they need to protect that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you're absolutely right. I think that's going to be a huge point on that. And truck parking has been something that the drivers have been dealing with. You get that situation there, and all of that goes away. What the essence of those rest areas and what they provide, and the reason that they exist is to have that brief stop, a place to pull over and park primarily, and that could go away. Let's talk about tolling of interstates. One thing that I was happy to see is that we're seeing more governors, more states that are starting to get involved. We keep hearing about I-80, which of course is near and dear to the Iowa 80 group.
That's right.
We hear about all of these ideas with tolling the interstates. Where are we on tolling?
I think it's definitely a live topic in this highway reauthorization.
Yeah.
I think a lot of states are pushing for the ability to be able to use tolls. I think the issue is really complex, but I think drivers need to be talking about no tolling of our existing interstates.
Right.
In particular, they already pay for those roads, and so maybe tolling is an issue for new roads.
Right.
But really, to take it and to take I-80 and piecemeal it and give some states the ability to toll it and some states not, and how do you exit? And it builds a lot of infrastructure. Tolling does, and you have to pull over and you have to pay and you have to, have those little transponders, and so it's going to make the world more complex, and I think it's just a hot potato issue.
And of course, it adds a tremendous amount of expense. When we look at just the portion of I-80 that they wanted to toll, you start adding that up, and Delia, that becomes a deterrent. Now, when it becomes a deterrent for the commercial trucking industry, they start using these side roads, which aren't built to carry that traffic. There is no real infrastructure there, but that's where a lot of these drivers will go. And that's a problem, because you have a breakdown out there and you're not going to necessarily have that service. You're not going to have what it is you need because, again, the infrastructure just simply doesn't exist on that level.
Right. And they were not built to handle that traffic. The best place for trucks is on the interstate. It's easy on, off. I mean, it was designed for them in mind.
Yeah.
And so I really hate to see them take away that advantage from trucking and have them thinking about alternate routes because, of course, they have to make money.
And we have paid for these interstates. We've paid and continue to pay for them. And it's a user fee. And the trucking industry pays a huge amount of taxes, fuel taxes, in order to support these interstates and to keep them maintained. We have heard from states in the past that have not been responsible for their spending, and they're using the fuel tax revenue in some cases for their general budget. And that wasn't the intent. The intent was to support the roads and that's exactly where that money should be going. So I think it's important that drivers get in touch with their elected leaders and let them know that they want that type of responsibility. Let's start with the source, and spending really is the source of all of that, and let them know you're opposed to tolling the interstates. I don't know anybody other than those governments, Delia, that do support tolling the interstates.
I agree. And, if you think about it, you're already paying the fuel tax.
Yeah.
And so to have a toll on top of it, you're just doubling your expenses.
Yeah, some important information. We always count on you to talk the issues with us, and thank you so much. We'll look for you again on the Travel Channel. I'm sure we'll see you again soon. And, of course, I'll see you this summer when we're all there at the Walcott Truckers Jamboree. Going to be another big year.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, thank you, Delia. We appreciate it.